This Friday night, the fifth annual A Night Out in the Cold will be held. And with us this morning is Stephanie Cicale from Homeless Solutions right here in Cedar Knolls. Stephanie, good morning.
Good morning, Jim.
Tell us what's on tap for this year.
Sure. So we can't believe it's already our fifth year doing a night in the cold. And again, this is an opportunity for anyone in the community to come out and be involved and support homeless folks in our community. And believe it or not, there's more than you think, even in affluent Morris County. And so this event was started during COVID when we realized people were anxious and yearning to do something active to help support those in our community who are really struggling with homelessness. So that's the beginnings, and 5 years later, we're still doing it, and people have really found it to be a motivating, humbling, life-changing experience.
You
So
know, it's a,
basically, the premise is that you would choose to sleep out either in your backyard or your driveway or in your car or on your kitchen floor, somewhere that's not comfortable, so that you're starting to empathize and understand the plight of folks who are nowhere to sleep at night,
you know,
basically.
the last time I slept outside, I happened to fall asleep outside. It was a beautiful summer night, not going to be like what it would be in early December. And it was on the ground. I think I had a sleeping bag. I was just kind of hanging out at a friend's house. We were outside, and the next thing I know, it's about 5:30 in the morning, and I'm all sore because I've slept out all night. It's a totally different experience.
Yeah, and that's what we found. This will be my fifth year doing it. Again, in solidarity with our neighbors who have nowhere to sleep. And I remember each year getting up, and you really don't get into a deep sleep because you're so uncomfortable. And one year the wind was howling, and I thought, oh, I happened to be in a tent, and I thought, oh, this tent's gonna fall right on my face. And some folks, again, just sleep right out in the open air on their deck. And I remember one gentleman telling us he thought the bears were going to get him. So, it's really different. And even folks who've chosen to sleep in their car, you really aren't getting comfortable, right? So it's just imagining waking up, if you had any sleep, in the morning and trying to face the day being so uncomfortable and so not rested and thinking about, oh my goodness, I need to be looking for a job. How am I going to do that? You kind of need to, a lot of folks need to think about what's their meal going to be? How are they going to sustain themselves? So there's all these things that a lot of us, I think, take for granted, that if that's your day-to-day existence at night and trying to sleep is very challenging. So.
What is the homeless situation here in Morris County? You referred to it as being one of the more affluent counties in the area. It actually is one of the more affluent counties in the entire country. But what is the homeless situation like here in Morris County?
Yeah, so sadly, coming out of COVID, I think we've seen the largest number of folks who are unsheltered or housing insecure than we've ever seen before. So there's over 1,000 uh, people on the wait list for shelter or housing in Morris County. 1,000 people is kind of mind blowing. So there's an annual point in time study that's done every year around January. But as I said, this is really the largest we've ever seen. And so we are partnering with the County of Morris, who helps Homeless Solutions by they own the building where we operate our shelter, and so we are strong partners together to try to get folks into our shelter, or if they can't fit there, the county will put them in motel rooms. But then it's trying to get them into a shelter setting, because for a family to be living in a motel is really hard. There's not access to food, and so a lot of the social service support that we provide. So it's really a problem, and that's why this event is helping to raise awareness and educate people about the problem, and
What are
and the organizations that are trying to help solve it.
what are some of the other things that Homeless Solutions does, Stephanie?
Yeah, so we actually are look at the approach to solving for homelessness as a continuum of solutions. So we've got the emergency shelter up on Hanover Avenue that has 85 beds in it, and it serves men, women, families. And then we have an overnight winter warming center that's going to open on December 1st for folks who are actually living out in the elements, street homeless. Many people tend to be couch surfing or staying with a relative or friend, and then they can get into our programs. But the folks that are living right on the street can now come in and stay with us for up to 4 months. We're open from December 1st through the end of March, and we try to get them into a better housing situation. And then we also have a transitional housing program, which is for up to 18 months for families, and you have to be employed or employable to be in that program. And then we build affordable housing. So there's a lot of apartments throughout Morris County that Homeless Solutions has built and now manages. Because again, we realized we were getting people back on their feet through our hand up, not a handout philosophy at Homeless Solutions. And folks are working, but there was nowhere they could afford to live. So that's when we started building affordable housing. So we
I
have
love
about
that. I love that
120.
slogan, by the way, hand
Yeah,
up, not hand out.
yeah. And that's really what we find is helps people make the best choices to get back their lives back on track and know we're here to support, but they have to do the work. So it's really impressive.
I believe last year's event raised a little over than $230,000. What's the financial goal this year, Stephanie?
Yeah, Jim, thanks for asking about that. That's a big thing. $260,000 is our goal. So we are at about 100,000 right now. So we have a ways to go, but we found in the past a lot of people are together over Thanksgiving with their families and thinking about ways they can give back to help the less fortunate. So we're hoping that people have been together over Thanksgiving and will be supportive of this event.
The fifth annual A Night Out in the Cold this coming Friday night. Stephanie, for listeners who want to get involved, whether they want to donate time or money or perhaps goods, how can they do that?
Yeah, I'd love for people to engage and join the effort here. You can go to our website. It's homelesssolutions.org. And there's all kinds of information about how to volunteer. Because, of course, we serve a hot meal every night at the shelter, and we use volunteers to do that. So it's a really great way to get together with your family or your neighbors, your colleagues, and volunteer. So check it out. And hopefully, folks will want to engage and support A Night in the Cold or Homeless Solutions.
And again, that website is homelesssolutions.org. Stephanie Cicale, the Chief Development Officer for Homeless Solutions here in Cedar Knolls. Thank you so much for your time this morning and best of luck with this year's event.
Thank you, Jim. We're really excited. Hope we don't have any rain.